Hey everybody, it's bonus stuff. We just got done reviewing The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, so go check out that a rare time where the whole podcast agreed on something. So go check out if we liked it or disliked it. But we are recording on a Mother's Day, so I think it's time for our tournament of bombs.
Rate
Dexter's
those
mom.
mothers.
So, Jared, do you have your chance cube handy?
Shoot, I don't know.
He doesn't know, so no one
Johnny
can...
was playing with it at my house, and I haven't seen it. So
Johnny has stolen. Okay, so while Jared looks for that, we'll start with the first bracket, and this is going to be the first mom of Marvel, Sue Storm, the Invisible Girl, versus Kala, who, if you remember, is Tarzan's adopted mom on The Legend of Tarzan. So
Okay.
that monkey strength, as we saw in the movie, is pretty strong. Can she take out an actual invisible girl?
are they fighting, or who do we like more?
Who's the better mom? We'll say.
Oh, who's a better caller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know Sue Storm was a mom.
She got two kids.
She took in an ugly, naked human baby, raised it as her own.
My thing about Sue is that she has this thing with Namor, and I don't like her. Yeah, whoever likes Namor is a real disgusting person.
He walks around naked, man.
You're going for Sue, Joseph?
I will go. I like the Fantastic Four, and one of her kids is like the strongest character ever, and the other one's super smart. So
wow,
there
didn't
you
know
go.
that she had any kids, let alone two.
Another honorary mom, Aunt May, versus Super Moms. Superman's
Super moms.
Super Moms.
That's hard, man.
Ma Kent, also known as Martha Kent.
What is her name?
I'm gonna go with Aunt May because she gives advice and has like good like messages.
Which Aunt May would you go with?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
So
The one from the Raimi movies.
Okay, it's a good one. I'm going to go also with Aunt May, and I'm going to go with the Spectacular Spider-Man Aunt May. She was pretty cool.
Yeah, she was cool.
I'm going to go Martha Kent. I'm going Smallville's Martha Kent because she was amazing.
Oh my god,
she's amazing. She was a great cast of Martha Kent. She was such a good character.
Honestly, I don't remember her, so I can't say it.
She was great.
I've never seen Smallville.
Well,
this one's kind of hard. I got to go with Aunt May because she's kind of the one known for giving out advice. I'll go with Marissa Tomei then.
Did you ever watch any Smallville, Joseph?
I watched like when it first came out, but that's it. Pa Kent, I think Pa Kent's a little more important just because I don't know.
What I've seen from them, like in the animated series, he just goes there, visits, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Superman's here, yay!" And that's about it.
Yeah, you guys gotta watch Smallville, man. She's an important, integral part of his upbringing.
All right, so
learning all them lessons.
We have Chi-Chi, mother of Gohan, versus Shmi Skywalker, mother of the Chosen One.
Can we pass?
We pass? No.
Chi-Chi's a great mom. She's a little overprotective, but she always wants him to focus on studies and stuff.
She's a very controlling mom.
What's that movie where she actually tries to fight the villains when that's
Lord Slug.
Lord Slug. Okay.
She does it a couple times.
She tries to fight Boo and gets her into an egg.
Oh yeah.
Poor Shmi.
Yeah, I feel like that character
gives up her son, and it gets. Well, I guess she had a few good years with
toasted.
Yeah, and then she gets toasted.
Yeah, this is a weird one. It's like just knock off this bracket, none of them are getting anywhere.
I don't know much about Shmi though.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no one knows if she really had that kid by herself or.
I guess I'll go with Chi-Chi just because I know Chi-Chi more and feel like she at least cares. So that's got to count for something, right?
Yeah, I'll go with Chi-Chi. Jared, you going with Chi-Chi?
Yeah, I said Chi-Chi.
Oh, Thomas?
I'm going to go with Shmi.
Oh, Shmee, a vote for Shmee.
Shmee. Good job.
All
Shmee.
right. We got Mrs. Brisby, who is the mom on The Secret of Nim.
Have I seen that?
You have seen that, Michael. It's about the mice that are smart.
Oh yeah. Oh dear
And then we
lord.
have Mrs. Incredible, so Elastigirl.
I feel like Mrs. Brisby is like one of the best moms because it's all about
Yeah.
saving that kid.
She
Like-
did a lot for that one kid who just had a cough.
Although is she playing favorites with that kid? She could be a bad mom because she loves
True.
one of the kids more.
But I
The
feel like
other kids were pretty responsible, though.
I don't feel like Miss Incredible's a great mom though either. She
Yeah.
seems more like, oh, a chance to go be a superhero. Bye, kids. Stay with
Yeah.
the babysitter, and then they're gonna. laser
Dang,
the
you're thinking of
babysitter.
that second one, huh?
Yeah. I'll go Miss Brisby.
All right. Thomas.
I'm gonna have to go with Mrs. Incredible.
Dang.
You're just
Yeah, you're just going for those hips.
you're a filth.
That red suit.
I'm not denying it.
All right, so we got Kala, Tarzan's mom, versus Aunt May, Spider-Man's adopted mom.
It's like the same person, but one's a
I
monkey.
know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go with Aunt May on this one.
Aunt May.
Aunt May.
I'll give Akala one if you guys are gonna go. I'll give her one.
Yeah, for Mother's Day.
Let her
give
have one.
She has that sweet song with Tarzan.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
All right, Chi-Chi versus Mrs. Brisby.
I don't
I'm gonna
remember
go
Mrs.
Mrs.
Brisby,
Brisby.
but I think she probably wins. She's
Wow.
just
Yeah,
scary.
I'd go with Miss Brisby.
All right, it's a sweet. Poor Chi-Chi.
Aw, poor Chi-Chi. Just don't be so angry, Chi-Chi. You scare people.
So that leaves us with Aunt May, the wisdom
This is
mom,
hard.
That's
versus
hard.
Miss
The
Brisby.
sweetest people in media.
I'll go Aunt May for this one.
Both had their husbands murdered.
Yeah. We got one vote so far.
This is really hard for me. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Miss Brisby
All right.
because in the second one, which no one likes, but I do,
Yeah, no
she's
one likes
still
her.
really nice and
No one
Voiced
likes
by-
Timothy or
By
whatever. his
Ralph Macchio.
name- All right. Dang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Aunt May. I'll tell you why after, but
I gotta go with Mrs. Brisby.
oh, it's a tie.
Yeah.
Gonna bring
I don't
it.
have that cube.
Doesn't well? Do we have a coin at least?
Could do a coin flip website.
Coin flip app.
Coin. Oop. Flip.
That's the thing about my place. If you leave something on a table, Luna will lose it under a couch.
All right. So,
So
who's gonna be heads
okay.
and who's tails? I guess Miss
Let's
Brisby
do-
has to be tails because she's a mouse.
yeah, she got a tail. She
And
has an
so
actual tail.
Aunt May can be a heads. Okay, flipping coin. Coin is flipping, coin is flipping, coin is flipping, coin is flipping. They land on heads.
Heads, Aunt
see
May.
Aunt May.
I'm not
I-
upset about that.
Yeah, that's cool. So
Yeah.
even though it's not her actual son, she can still be a good mom. So that's a good message for Mother's Day.
That
salute,
is.
salute to all you
Deliver us
moms out
from
there.
evil.
Did you vote Aunt May because it was Marissa Tomei? Aunt
No.
May? Are you and Thomas just perverts?
I'm sorry.
Salute to moms out there everywhere for Mother's Day. You'll probably see this late if you are a mom out there, but it was the thought that counts. All right.
What if
so
our
we
fan
got-
base is just moms from now on?
These sweet young
That'd be-
kids wish
they're
me
so sweet. All right, so we got to talk about a little bit of news. In this week, we got a reveal of Superman's new
true.
costume. So, what did you guys think of this new Superman from James Gunn?
Who is this actor?
I don't remember his name.
Something Cornwall or something.
What was he like from?
Cornwall. I have no idea.
General Cornwall.
Did
You
they?
guys talk about it while I look it up.
Is this still? This isn't called Superman Legacy anymore. Is it? It's just Superman.
I don't remember that either.
Yeah, 2025.
Look at the veins in his hands, dude. What?
No joke.
Dude, have you seen pictures of the actual dude? He got jacked for this.
Oh,
film.
really? He's vascular.
He's vascular. His name is
Women like
David
vascular.
Corn Sweat.
Corn sweat.
Corn Sweat.
Poor
actually-
smut.
Corn sweat, yeah.
Oh, I like the guy that's playing Jimmy. That's a good pick for Jimmy Olsen. I like that actor.
Yeah.
Who?
Skylar Gisondo.
I don't know.
He's been in several things. Most recently,
Weird
he's in,
question. Is he a ginger or no?
no,
Oh, it's just sad.
he's not. He's not ginger. What
Taking
was-
y'all's parts,
What was
guys.
David
God.
in? David has
Maybe-
David is known for Pearl, We Own the City, The Politician, Look Both Ways. I've never seen any of those.
Isn't he British? Is he British?
But about the suit, it looks all right. Can't see it because he's kind of like sitting.
No, he's from Pennsylvania,
Oh, really?
Oh wow.
A Quaker man.
or he was born in Philadelphia. Yeah, Pennsylvania, USA. Here is the actor. Blah blah blah.
They couldn't find a Kansas actor. Jeez.
Guess not. I guess he was in House of Cards as Reed. Never seen that show. know.
I don't. So a lot of people had a negative reaction because it looks very gloomy, kind of like Zack Snyder gloomy, and we were all hoping for kind of bright, happy Superman. I like the collar.
Yeah.
I like the S. I like the trunks. He's got the trunks on. I don't like the upper part of the suit. And it's like battle damage already. I wish they would have just did what it looked like regularly. He's got the kind of Superman hair curl thing going on, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, I just don't like the mood of the picture, I guess. I guess they could have picked a better picture, is what I'm saying. Just like of him flying around, maybe.
I liked all of the jokes of like how casual he is while there's like devastation happening behind him. He's just
From
slowly putting on his
outside,
boots.
Another day.
Giant purple ball of death behind him.
So people are trying to guess what the villain is just from that purple ball of
Brainiac.
death. Yeah, that's what I said.
Looks like a
A
jellyfish.
lot of people are saying Lex Luthor because he's actually in it, but who is Lex Luthor? They said, right?
He's,
It's Holt.
yeah, Nicholas Holt.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
As Lex Luthor?
Oh,
Some more news.
Could be Eisenberg. You never know, man.
I liked Eisenberg.
he actually was better than I thought he was going to be.
I like the pick, but I didn't like him.
Mm.
Like, I don't like how they wrote him.
Mm.
I thought he could have been good, but they just wrote him like he was riffing off the old Lex from the old movies. I kind of wanted a new spin on it. So more news. Peter Jackson and Andy Serkis are teaming up for two Gollum movies.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
All on specific movies? Like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
I don't really need the backstory of Gollum.
We also-
We have the backstory of
Yeah, I think the movie does it fine, especially the beginning of Return of the King. I mean,
Yeah, you get all you need.
yeah.
You don't need to see more of.
You love that recent game, guys. What are you talking about? You want a
If
movie
it's
now.
based on that game, okay, let's go.
Maybe a Tetris version movie of
If
that
you
game.
you just see him floating on this wheel like in the air.
No, thank you.
If anyone needs like a backstory, I guess Aragon.
That would be
Aragorn
interesting.
as a ranger. That would
Yeah.
be cool to see him actually doing ranger stuff.
like in his Ranger days.
Yeah.
That'd be very
And like
cool.
how he meets what's her name, because they just kind of
How he meets Gandalf. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. We don't know how he met Gandalf. He just
There's
kind
a
of knows.
lot of
Yeah.
stuff. But no, let's just go
What the
back and
heck,
do
people?
Gollum again. Apparently,
No.
my guess is because they said that this is going to be Gollum, like the search for Gollum or what the heck it was. And so my guess is like, because in the books, after Bilbo's birthday, Gandalf goes and looks for Gollum, and he and Aragorn team up. So that's what my guess this movie would be about. I haven't read too much into it, so I have no idea if that's even close. But because it was like something about the search for Gollum or something like that.
Hmm.
But-
Does it give you hope that Peter Jackson's going to be back?
Not, I mean, if they give him control, sure, but they didn't do that with the Hobbit, so.
Oh yeah, true.
I'm about to say there was a lot of interference there, and
because he wanted years to do it, and they said we're going to do it now, or with or without you, and he was like, "Well, crud, I'll do what I can."
Crap baskets.
Oh, crabby cakes.
if you're gonna do Lord of the Rings, you need to do stuff outside of like the trilogy,
the main character.
I mean, because the trilogy's already been done. So
it's like what we've been saying for Star Wars.
Yeah,
Just
100%.
do something
Leave
now.
the main
away
characters
from the main
alone.
story.
Don't need Bilbo. I don't need Schmeagol. Get out of it.
Just do Tom Bombadil. And...
There you go.
The Bombadil Chronicles. I'd watch that.
Starring Jack Black. I'd be all about that. They found a 1923 old anime. So it's the oldest anime ever found. It's just about this kid that's eating lunch. So that was kind of cool. For the controversies this week, we had a big one, and that was Xbox closing down some studios, including some Bethesda studios. This kind of created a big old outrage. There's two sides to this debate, though. So I'm on one, Michael's on another. I don't know where you two fall, but
I haven't heard much about this besides the closing of studios. So what are the sides?
Okay, Michael, you describe your side.
Okay, well, my only thing, well, it's just kind of the side of, big big conglomerate corporation buys the whole umbrella thing and then just starts shutting down studios. So they shut down Tango Gameworks and Arcane. Now, Arcane did do a bad game. They did Redfall back in, what was that, March of last year, May of last year?
Yeah, that was last year, yeah.
But to my knowledge, they haven't really had a bad game. Apart from that, I've only played their Dishonored games, which is what they're known for, and people freaking love them. But Tango, to my knowledge, does not have a bad game. Now, Ghostwire Tokyo, people will say it's good, bad, or some people say it's bad, but it mostly ranges from good to some people actually think it's great, which is a few rarities, but that's like the lowest one that I've seen. People love Evil Within. I freaking love Evil Within. People loved Hi-Fi Rush. And
that's a good one.
Didn't like it.
And it's just like,
I know it's years past, but Evil Within 1 still sucks. The controls suck. It's just bad, dude.
It's exact same as Resident Evil 4 original.
No.
Tank controls?
No, it's not tank controls. It's like it doesn't even make you stop and aim, does it? It's been so long, dude. I can't remember.
No, you can walk around.
It's probably it's definitely probably rough and dated. It's been a minute since I played it, but anyway. So my whole issue, and then so they come out. So there's a couple things that really piss me off about this. One, you're closing two very good studios. Two, how they did it was an email. There was no meeting. It's just like one morning you get an email, boom. Hey, you guys are going bye. Have fun. Like we're Xbox. Have fun. Bye. Annoying. And then three, like apparently the Tango Gameworks head like a week or two before had just pitched them Hi-Fi Rush 2. And it's like, you think you're closing this, why are you letting them do that? That's a total BS. And then after they closed them, they put up a thing of like, we want more standout, unique games in our portfolio. And it's like,
Hi-Fi Rush was
exactly standout and unique. And also, it's like, you can't argue the fact of sales being the issue because it's all on Game Pass. Like your subscriber numbers are what matter. And like, that's what you want for subscribers. Like, games that people will play, people that are interesting, especially games like Hi-Fi Rush, which are kind of shorter and you hop in and play it. I don't know. This is so, there's probably way better arguments that I was just annoyed. I didn't even look more into it. Like I saw the initial thing, like Alex has been listening to podcasts about, Colin's podcast. They're going off about it, how angry they are. Like this guy, Matty Plays, he's a massive Xbox fan, massive Bethesda fan as well. And he's just talking about how upset he is about this. But I don't know. For me, it was just like, I don't see a reason to close these two studios. One bad game, even though like people played the game because it's on Game Pass. Redfall probably got more publicity because it was bad, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know. It's just it's that kind of worrisome thing to me of like them buying up all this stuff. Like they just bought, Bethesda, Blizzard, Activision, like just having the power of shutting them down. It's like, why not sell them? Why not do something, anything else with them? Why are you buying them and then doing nothing with them? Like that's another thing is like the history of Xbox has been so bad recently since Xbox One of like, get us good games. And it's like, you finally buy studios that are making good games like Hi-Fi Rush, which just came out. And it's like, Also, they can't take credit for that because it was being made before they even bought them. So it's not even their freaking game. They just closed the freaking studio when they were just given a game that's good. I don't know. The whole thing annoys me to death. But
it does suck when people lose their jobs.
That sucks.
You could have just like disband or like kind of put them other places
and it
or
also,
other studios.
It's like it makes more sense if it's justified. But I see no justification. Like they have not had a flop. Like take Arcane, Redfall, yes, but Tango Games Works, their past 5 games that I can think of were all at least good to great and sold really well. So I don't know. It annoyed me greatly, and the fact that Tango doesn't exist anymore is very upsetting to me.
Yeah, I wish Ghostwire wasn't first person.
Yeah,
that was the only
I need to play that one, but
that was the only thing. Like I saw the trailers and stuff, I was like, oh, cool. But then it showed like gameplay, and it was like first person. I was like, that should be a third person game.
That one's on Game Pass right now, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. So my side was I'm a little more hopeful about what this signifies, and that's kind of the end of the AAA games, which I think has gotten too bloated, too much staff. I mean, it does suck that these guys, their studio got closed down, but it does cut them loose to go start a new studio. But yeah, AAA games just got out of control. You pay $70, and a lot of games are just like walking simulators. I think we need a little bit more smaller, like a bunch of studios that are smaller, and that charge less and are easier to make. And maybe we don't need these great big cinematic, video games like that. So yeah, I think you're seeing that that's what players want more, is because AAA games have really become like under the microscope. People are kind of sick of the charging of the microtransaction, and that's what these big studios are made out of, are microtransactions and not Game Pass, but what do you call them, subscriptions and stuff like that.
Season passes.
They're designed to just bring in money like constantly, like all the time. And I think that's kind of got in the way of creativity in the video game, because there's a lot of creative like indie games, but they just get overshadowed. And I think indie games are good for Game Pass. That's where they go. That's where people play them. Like Michael said, like something like Hi-Fi Rush should have been an indie game that you could just play on Game Pass. I like Game Pass. I know me and Jared use it a lot. I know it's kind of complicated if it's actually good for the gaming industry, because it is just Microsoft's Game Pass, and then we'll probably eventually have Nintendo's Game Pass and Sony's Game Pass, and you got to buy. A lot of people talk about this being the last Xbox, and they just go into Game Pass, and that's what you have. It's kind of like Steam. That's their Steam, and that's what you play on PC and stuff like that. So that's. I like that AAA games are, being examined for, the kind of scummy practices that they do. And, I'm a classic conservative. I like small stuff. I even think this with like businesses. We don't need giant Apple and Google corporations. We need a bunch of small stuff, because that brings out creativity and competition and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of what's happening to the game industry at this point. But we'll see. I mean, who knows? This probably is gonna. Well, I've heard a lot of people say there's gonna be one more Xbox and then they close it. But I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last Xbox. And then you have Nintendo, who does their own thing. And I mean, I would buy a Switch, but they only seem to put out one game every like 5 years, and it's very frustrating. But I'm really tempted to buy the new Switch 2 whenever that comes out. So we'll see about that. Any other comments on the closers?
My only shot back or conversation back to that would be the fact that Tango and Arcane, you could argue that the fact of like them being more cinematic and the kind of like, because that's kind of Dishonored is that kind of more cinematic thing. But like you said, Hi-Fi Rush feels like an indie game, and I don't think Tango's very big at all. Like if they were going for that more chopping of the big heads, like like I don't want to say this word, but to say this word, Obsidian has had their game on the freaking back burner for a long time. What is it? I forget what it's Avowed is what it's called, I believe. And it's
Yeah.
like that game has been pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And like there's these like why are you getting rid of people who are just at least releasing games when you have dozens of others that haven't put out a game since you bought them 5 years ago? It's like, what are they doing? Why are they getting free passes when Tango's putting stuff out that's good? That's what's killing me. I'm like, what the heck?
I totally agree that it probably wasn't a good thing for Microsoft to buy all these studios when they're not going to do anything with them. But it's hard for those studios to pass up the money that Microsoft is offering. So yeah,
or their parent studios, or just sell them off like little chickens.
Yeah,
I don't know. It sucks, but I do hope that would be very cool if they just if Tango was able to just go. But that's the thing. I'm like, I just wish they were sold, or just I don't know.
Yeah, because it sucks that they're gonna have to like get a new company. Like,
hey, we're the same guys.
Yeah,
but then again,
Tango or something like
with all the stuff with I don't know if you guys have been following the there's that big company that bought up is like Xbox. But they didn't have the money to buy them up like Xbox did, and they bought a bunch of freaking companies, and then they just had to sell off everything. They have the only thing left big they have, I think, is Tomb Raider, Crystal Dynamics.
Oh, Embracer.
Embracer. There you go. Yeah, it's like that's the other side of the coin of like I don't want someone to. Like if they would have sold Tango, I wouldn't have wanted someone like them to buy them because then they would have just gone on them. But at least Embracer sold their stuff rather than I don't know. It's a big tangled mess and it upset me. I was pretty upset this week, but about that. But I don't know. We'll see.
And then the last bit of controversy was kind of stupid, but Apple put out a new trailer for the Apple iPad 15 or whatever. I don't know what number 15. They're on. But so this ad, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's got like musical instruments. It's got an old arcade cabinet. It's got paint. It's got, all this art stuff. And then this thing like comes and crushes it and it turns it into the iPad. And it's like, wow, that's very tone deaf.
Yes, it is. Good Lord.
Like AI is coming for you.
All you need is forget history. It is now.
I know, it's like everything you love is getting crushed and turned into an iPad. So
oh my,
there was that.
That's
so
amusing.
It's time to go into our homework for the week. No Star Trek again.
No Star Trek. It was Mother's Day. I usually watch it before the podcast, but I was
mothers love Star Trek.
Yeah, you should just put it on.
Huh? I don't know if she might have watched it, but I don't think she would enjoy it today.
All right. So who wants to start? Thomas, you want to start with your list?
You're muted. Oh, or your mic's just not close to you.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay,
there you go.
All right. Sure, why not? So I didn't do a lot. I just kind of watched a lot of YouTube and some random stuff. So I'm going to start with Donut Operator, and he's an ex Navy guy and an ex cop, and he reviews a lot of like police procedure stuff. But apparently he broke down this one video where this how do I say this appropriately? Child philanderer, I guess is what we're gonna go with. So it was this guy trying to meet up with like a 7 and an 8-year-old.
Oh my.
So bad stuff. Turns out it was a police sting. So the guy shows up at the hotel and the police come out and go like, hey man, you're caught. The guy pulls a gun on the police. Well, one of the officers was right and ready, pulls out his gun and castrates the guy with the gun.
Oh, dang.
Good.
I mean,
well, the guy's still wanting to shoot at the police. So all 3 of the officers just unload all 3 of their magazines on him. Like probably a good 50 shots into the guy. And they're like, oh my God, like he's dead. Like there's no like debate. The guy is toast. And speaking of toast, then his body catches on fire.
So it's like the best outcome for these people.
So they're not sure exactly what happened yet. There's not a follow-up
justice.
Yet. So either his clothes got caught on fire from being so close to the muzzle flashes from these officers' pistols, or his cell phone caught on fire because of the battery, or he had a pacemaker and it just burst into flame.
Or God just smited him.
or there's like the fourth one's like, guess what? If you kill a kid diddler, it's like a boss battle, and they immediately go up in flame. So, but it's literally the video. They're like, oh my god, it's all kind of blurred out. Like, oh my god, I can't believe we just did that. Like, whew, that was close. And then like smoke arises, and you're just like, oh my god. So the officer's like
Just
freaking out, like
sinks below the pavement down
Yeah.
into the depths of the
like the demons like come out and drag the body into hell. Like from
Good
was it
Lord.
Ghost or whatever, the shadow people? Yeah. So it was a very interesting video, and I was just like, oh my god. So that happened. Then I watched the Unsubscribed podcast. Some of the gun tubers that I watch host it. Donut Operators on there. And they had on, so you guys probably know him. He's called Grandpa Gaming. Have you guys ever heard of him?
Maybe probably seen a clip, but
So he's a Twitch streamer. He's 71 years old, and he is a pro Twitch streamer.
Is he the sniper dude? That
Yes.
Okay.
So
Like
he's
Battlefield,
been
Yeah.
he's been streaming for about 12 years. And he's like an OG Twitch streamer. And he's actually really good. It turns out though, he's like a 25-year Navy veteran. The guy has like a list of all kinds of like clandestine stuff. And he met his wife in the military. They're both like Navy vets. And they keep asking us like, so did you get injured? He's like, I never got injured in the field. Like I was a deep sea diver, naval ordnance disposal guy, but I did get hurt. I have a Purple Heart from the line of duty. And they're like, how did you do that? He's like, well, I was in my office on base. I leaned back in my office chair. The chair's backside, like this thing right here, it's like one of those cheap ones that's held up by a pole. Well, the backside slips off. He goes back, and it impales in his spine, and he's paralyzed.
oh my god.
So he's just like sitting there going like,
Ow.
well, that happened. And he's stuck there. He can't move. And so like 20 minutes go by, and he's just like, is anybody in the office? And like this orderly comes in, and she's like, oh my god. So
It's like that episode of Still Standing. He's like, Ed, I thought you were in the military. You got injured. He's like, I cut my leg on a filing cabinet. I never saw action.
Yeah. And so it was just one of those things. He's like, I mean, he's fine now. He can walk and everything. He has like no mobility problems, but it like literally like just shifted his spine. He's like, I can't believe that happened. Like all these years in the field, and what takes me out? The freaking Office Depot like cheap chair in the office takes me out. So, but it's a very cool podcast. He's a very, very cool guy, and he's very knowledgeable about like everything. So,
Even
and then-
aliens.
he couldn't talk about that.
Oh no.
So then they had on Garantham, which was like another one, a gun tuber that I watched. But for some reason, they got into talking about zebras because there's like a wildlife like reserve, kind of like where they're at, and it got me thinking about the zebras in
Apes.
Planet of the
Apes,
Apes,
Planet of
yeah.
the Apes, yeah. But then they go into more details, like, oh yeah, basically zebras are like the Dalmatians of the horse or the equine people or whatever you call them. They are super aggressive and they kill things.
Mhm.
So apparently they had a zonkey. Do you know what a zonkey is?
Yeah,
Zebra
zebra donkey.
donkey. So apparently the purebred zebras targeted the zonkey and like murdered it.
Oh man.
But then I know that was the exact reaction of them, like, oh, I feel so sad. But then apparently the zebras got so petty that they actually drug the body like a mile away from their habitat and dumped it. So they're so petty that they don't want the corpse around them. I'm just like, what? So zebras are
I did like that part where they're like, what is that?
Strike.
What is a zebra?
so that just I thought that was kind of serendipitous about talking about zebras, but it was funny. I was like, man, zebras are dicks. So,
Like the dolphins of the land.
apparently they are intelligent, like super intelligent. So and then I watched Brandon Herrera. So he had a big special. He did the he's been building this rifle for 8 years. So what it is, it's an AK-50. So it's an AK model platform, but it shoots a 50 caliber round, and it's the first one of its kind.
Jesus.
He's been doing this, like he's been working on this gun since like he was 20. and he just turned like 29. He's like, this has been almost a decade worth of research and like development, and I finally built one, and it's pretty cool.
Should have waited a year, man. He could have done it for his 30th birthday.
Well, he's running for Congress, so he's like, I don't have much time to finish this, so I need to finish this if I can do it.
Oh, is he that guy from Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he's a pretty cool guy. But it was pretty cool to see like the whole, because he did a whole video about it and the development of it, and it's weird seeing him like when he's super young. Okay, it sounds weird. He looks super Mexican when he's younger. I'm just like, wow, that's just one of my cousins. Okay. But yeah, very, very interesting. And then speaking of Brandon Herrera, he had on this one guy named Brandon Buckingham. He's a YouTube guy. But he got invited out by Brandon and Donut Operator to go to their one of the ranges to just go out and shoot, because he doesn't know a lot about guns. So he got take out there to just see what he could do. But they also invited a lot of other content creators out there. Turkey Tom was one of them.
I saw his photo about it.
Yeah, and Wendigoon, and weirdly enough, Destiny was invited out there. Which
because I know Turkey Tom's friends with him or knows him.
Yeah, I personally don't like Destiny. I think he's kind of an a-hole. So, but especially like his humor, I don't think is very cool. Like it's basically a 12-year-old. So I'm like, okay, cool, man. But it's very interesting because like Herrera invited out these guys called the Boy Boys. I don't know if you heard of them. They're an Australian YouTube.
Boy Boys.
Yeah. Well, so they invited them out there in all good faith because they were curious about weapons and stuff. And they invited them to the range. They spent almost $3,000 on ammo for them. Didn't charge them. They're like, hey, it's on us. Well, you come do what you want to do, and there you go. Turns out the whole video was a hit piece on them, and they even tried to like pin the Valdi shooting on them, and then they even brought, and this is kind of sick. They even brought out like kid-shaped targets for them to shoot, and Herrera and Donut are like, hey, that's not cool. Like. No, that's in super bad taste. That's weird, man. But they're Australian, and so they're like, maybe they're just kind of an effed up sense of humor. I don't know. But then the video released, and it was just a hit piece. They're like, okay, cool. Well, you're never welcome back, and you're liars. So it was really bad. But the Brandon Buckingham one, they kind of it was a long video. They just showed everything. It was really cool. So, and then I watched some anime. Mushoku Tensei aired, and some crap went down. It's a good episode, but anyway, and then watched Kaiju number 8, episode 5. Are you caught up, Jared?
No.
Okay.
We watched episode 4 after the movie.
Okay.
I'll talk about it when we get.
It's good. It's not as good as 4, but it's still good, and I'm loving the progression of the show. So. I think that's all I got.
All right.
I can go next. I don't have much.
Yeah, I was going to say, me and Jared checked out the first 3 episodes of the Knuckles show over on Paramount Plus. So,
oh yeah, that came out.
The coolest thing, I think the best thing that happened was Knuckles ate some grapes, and it was
adorable. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen. They're in a car driving to Nevada, and he's just eating his snack, which is a bunch of grapes, and it is the cutest thing. If you can look it up, go look it up. It's
he doesn't have fingers, so he can't pluck the grapes. So he's just got to nibble them. No, he just nibbles on stuff. So,
how many episodes of that show?
6.
Okay.
Yeah, super short. They're like a half hour long. First episode, it was okay. Second episode, I liked. Third episode was okay, and then the end was kind of good. It's kind of just hit and miss on the humor. The humor is like nonstop. So
it's either really childish or like okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was I going to mention about the dinner? There was something funny on there. So they have Shabbat, and they eat all the Shabbat food.
Hot food?
Yeah, like I don't know what they're called, but like the dumplings and the stuff like that. And there was something funny in it. I can't remember what it. Do you remember what it was, Jared?
I don't remember.
Oh well.
Did they have challah bread?
We lost that joke. Yeah, they had challah bread.
Okay.
There was something funny someone said, and I can't remember what it.
I liked how Knuckles explained that his whole tribe got taken out by owls, and he's
yeah.
practically Jewish.
Yeah, and then he was like, and then I wandered around for 4 years or something like that in space, and she's like, space, wander around 40 years in the desert and see how it is. So that was funny. Anything else you want to say about Knuckles, Jared?
No, he loves Doritos, and that grape scene was amazing.
Cool Ranch Doritos, so he's a little not right in the head, but
I like.
Okay, what else you do, Jared?
I didn't do too much because I started Jedi Survivor. It was on Game Pass, and I missed it last year, so I'm giving it a shot. I'm playing it on a Grandmaster, and it is hard, a lot harder than the last game.
Yeah,
and it was making me mad. I was yelling at it.
it does make you yell.
What's sad is he hasn't even gotten to the hard parts yet.
I got to Jeddah, and we'll see. 'Cause I haven't had time to play it. We had to go see the apes, and then Jackson
Stupid
wanted to watch anime, so I haven't had much time to play it. As far as anime, I started Kaiju number 8 with Jackson, and it was really good. It's done by, I didn't know it was done by Studio IG, so like the guys I did like Fully Cooley and stuff like that. The art is really good. I love the character art. It's kind of like it's CG, but they draw over it, so it looks a lot better. And I love the design of the main character. He's really cool. And the story, I like the story because he's a 32-year-old man, which I like that anime is doing a lot more adults than 15-year-old high schoolers, which I was getting really tired of being a 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
The funny thing was I forgot about this. Chris told me this when the anime came out, but the ending song came on, and me and Jackson were like, "Huh, this is a bop." And then it's like One Republic, and we're like, "The heck?" And then the opening is good too. Someone named Youngblood. I've never heard of him before.
I like him.
But he does the opening, and it's really cool visuals. It's like a James Bond opening because there's a lot of like swirling visuals and stuff like that. So it's a really good show. Like in the story, I like pretty much just like everything about it. It's pretty good. And then last time I said I watched like the first 4 episodes of Shield Hero. I finished the first season and half of the second.
Dang.
The first season is pretty good. There's some stuff I don't like about it. There's a lot of like creepy stuff. Like there's this character that starts off as he gets an egg, and the whole thing is like it's a lottery. You could get a dragon. You can get one of these birds, these chocobos.
Lottery eggs.
It hatches, and it's a chocobo. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of an ugly design. But then it gets fat. It becomes this fat chicken. I was like, okay, that's cool. And then right after that, it becomes a little girl, and I was like, ugh. It's like kind of creepy. I don't like that. And there's a lot of stuff like that in that anime where it's like, cool, this is cool, this is cool, creepy, and cool.
Creepy.
And then the second season started, and to me, it was a huge drop off because it's another studio. Unfortunately, there's a new voice actor for the main character. So there's a lot of things kind of like started off really bad. Like I was like, and it seems like the story, they're just like, it wasn't like thought out really well. It's just like, oh, we need in a second season. So what do we do? But then when I got to the halfway point, it's starting to pick up again. But it's been a real roller coaster, that show. And then just keeping up with everything else, like My Hero. Saw the second episode. I don't know what to say because I don't want to spoil things. So I'm just gonna say I saw the second episode, and then I'm keeping up with Bartender, and then Train to the Other Side of the World, and then YouTube. I don't really like talking about YouTube unless I have something new. And the only new thing I had was Wheezy mode, which is like there's a lot of YouTubers that like commentate on fighting in anime, like fight scenes. This guy is commentating on like Pokemon battles, and he's talking about like Ash. He was talking about Gary. Um, he's talking about how Gary is like a fraud because he's like actually thinking about like the stuff he does in the season, and he's like, wait a minute, this guy sucks.
He's got cheerleaders.
So he's really funny. I like his stuff. There is stuff that I want to talk about real fast about YouTube. Wooly from like Super Best Friends and now Castle Super Beast. He went to Texas for the first time. I don't know about the first time, but he was in Texas recently. I was like, man, I could have saw him. But he went to Buc-ee's, and being Canadian, he was shocked. He was like, there's a million pumps, infinity pumps, and then there's just everything Buc-ee in there. He's like, you can go in there with nothing, come out with enough camping gear to go camping and have a good time.
And be fully clothed in the attire of Bucky.
Pat
Tons of restrooms.
Pat didn't understand anything he was saying because he's so Canadian, just couldn't understand. That's the concept. But I thought it was super funny hearing about Wooly in Texas because they're so Canadian, and like the stuff we do is just like
not Canadian.
Yeah, it blows their mind.
Hey man, if that blows Canadian minds, think of like European or Chinese going to Buc-ee's.
I do like it when like British people try like American Southern food. They're just like, this has so much flavor. Like, we know we use spices. We cook our food.
I like this one video where these British guys go to like a Mexican restaurant in like the southern part of the US, and they like poured the salsa on the chips. They didn't dip.
That's so weird.
They just poured it on top.
Get some soggy chips.
Everyone was like, what are you doing?
Have you seen the one where
chip.
like those two British guys go to Black's Barbecue in Austin?
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, we've like killed our taste buds. Nothing will ever be this good. Like, we're gonna go back to Britain going like, this just tastes like nothing.
This tastes like gray.
They just throw their food on the wall. It's like, I don't want this.
What I was going to talk about is also Pat and Wooly talked about the whole Drake and Kendrick beef, and that was funny. And then also Not So Serious talked about it too. They had like a whole hour of it. So that's a lot of what I watched was this whole conversation about the beef. And
they still haven't found Diddy.
Still haven't found him. And then Johnny listed all the tracks. I listened to those. There's some good ones, mostly Kendrick. And then Drake has that one that's pretty good. But that's pretty much all I did my week was talking about or listening about beef, playing Star Wars, and watching anime.
Cool. I'll finish mine real fast if you don't mind, Michael. Watched Unfrosted. So Jerry Seinfeld directed a movie about the creation of Pop-Tarts. So the true story about the creation of Pop-Tarts, kind of like how the Weird Al movie was the weird story of him. It's basically that silly. It reminded me of like early Jim Carrey movies, or it was just nuts. And it's a serial jokes like every second. And you could tell Jerry just like every person he knew, all celebrities he knew, and called them up because like Christian Slater shows up as an evil milkman, and there's a Mad Men crossover during the movie. So it was crazy. It's stupid. It's really stupid, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. And I was cracking up at some of those serial jokes.
What was that on?
Netflix. So Unfrosted. Then I watched a movie called Miller's Girl. This stars Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman. So this was a weird movie, man. It was like, it didn't know if it wanted to be like a sleazy erotic thriller like we used to have in the 90s. And like every Lifetime story was basically the story. And then And then there was these weird, like, serious moments where, like, the movie took itself serious, and then you're like, "Oh, okay, it's gonna be serious." But then it went back to the cheesy or the sleazy thriller stuff. So it was a really weird movie. The stars talk in southern accents because I guess they're in a southern state, so that was a little weird. It, I guess they were probably the best part of the movie, but everything else was just a little weird. It was a weird movie. And then I watched a really bad movie, which was called Ruthless. And this, I turn it on because it's on Hulu, and I'm like, man, I want like an action movie. So I turn this on, and then the Saban logo pops up, and I'm like, oh no! And so this is like, so
Gonna say
Ruthless
it's gonna be like
is
Power Rangers.
yeah. So I don't know if you've seen any of their action movies, but they're really bad production. It looks like it kind of looks like Hallmark made action movies or something like that. The cinematography is really bad. And there was one of the worst line deliveries I have ever seen in a movie, and it was crazy. I forget what the line was, but this girl's like talking to her coach, and she's like, "Why do you have to be so mean?" And it was just so stupid. So basically, it's this coach whose daughter was murdered. So so a couple years later, he's teaching this girl how to wrestle. I mean, like actual wrestling, not sicko stuff.
Not pillowing.
Yeah. So one of his students, and she shows up with like abusive signs. So he goes to her mom's boyfriend and beats the crap out of him. And then he learns that the daughter gets kidnapped, and he goes to that boyfriend's house, and he learns that she's been trafficked and going to be sold in Vegas. And so he starts breaking everyone's fingers and arms. That's like his main move in this, is breaking fingers. I don't know why. Because I was expecting like shootouts and stuff like that, but no, it's pretty much just breaking fingers the whole time, in arms. That's what he does the whole time.
Everyone has their gimmick.
Remember that scene in Taken where they're like at the auction and they're like looking at girls? There was a scene like that, but it was really weird because they were watching like videos of the girls, and it looked really bad, like cheesy graphics. And man, this was a bad movie. It would have been fun if Jared was there, because we could have probably really made fun of this movie, but by yourself, it's just like, why am I watching such a bad movie? Yeah, and then that's all I did this time. So Michael, take it away.
Well, I not only failed with Doctor Who, dear
Oh,
Lord,
no.
I already screwed my thing. I failed with Star Trek. I didn't watch Doctor Who, and I didn't watch My Hero, so I failed all around.
But
Jeez,
it's not for-
Michael.
It's not for me. It's not for me, apparently.
And
Never
apparently not
was.
for anyone, because the ratings were super bad.
Were they? Oh, that's
Yeah.
sad. I still want to watch it because I want to see what their plan is with it. So I'll tune in. I'll get back with Doctor Who next time, and then My Hero next time. So all I did finish one other thing apart from Super. I am still continuing Super, but we'll get to Fallout first. We watched the last 2 episodes Friday night. Yes, Friday night. Some twists and turns I didn't expect. Visually, I really like the endings of the set pieces, or like, I don't know if set pieces is the right word there, because it's not like actual like action. Really, not much happened, but it visually looked good.
Production design.
Production design, yeah. And I will agree with Thomas, like he said before, the Steel Boy, he grew on me toward the end. He's not grown on me, but he grew on me more. So
He's definitely better
he's
than
better,
the first episode.
100% better. And then he kind of goes, he not flip flops, but like gets pushed back and forth between being with the chick and then being with the people, and he like immediately gets the same face back when he's back with the soldier people. I'm like, you were smiling 5 seconds ago, you had emotion, and then you went. I'm like, what happened? Well, I don't know what. He just like zones out. But some interesting reveals. I enjoyed it. It's definitely not like not to run home and finish this show, but if you're ever bored and interested in it, it was definitely good. I'll say the show was good. But people were saying like Last of Us contender. I don't think so. But still good. About it. Yeah. Anything on Fallout, Thomas? Because you said you didn't talk about it last time.
Well, I will say I did like the progression of the show more than the very beginning, because the very beginning I did not like that first episode at all, really. But I'm also kind of curious about what they're going to do, because do you mind if I spoil something for both of y'all, or have you guys seen it?
I'm never gonna finish
I'm
it.
not gonna
Okay.
finish it.
So at the very end, and spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched it, just saying.
Are they in your ceiling?
I was like, what are you looking at?
So Kyle MacLachlan's character goes to New Vegas, and so there's a lot of like questions about what they're going to do, because in the New Vegas stuff, like basically it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. The fate of Vegas is not canon. Nobody really knows what happens. Like if you blow up Vegas, is it fine, whatever. And so a lot of people are kind of curious about what they're going to do. And yeah, I don't know. It's very odd. But Michael, tell me you had that one scene though that
that line. I knew what you guys were talking about when it hit, and I was like, okay, that the line that Joseph kept mentioning. I was like, oh gosh.
What was the line? I don't know.
Oh man, what is it? It's like, I'm not a communist.
Communist is a word they use for people who
aren't crazy.
Yeah,
who aren't crazy.
Like, cool. Tell that to like 50 million people that have died, but whatever.
Yeah, it was,
okay.
It was an interesting
that
line.
line doesn't even make any sense.
I kind of thought about it for a while. For a minute, I was like, these are crazy.
What the heck does that mean?
Well, I don't know, because they haven't really solidified if they were actually good guys or not.
There's not really good guys at the end of it.
Like it, because I was watching breakdown of the ending. It's like these people aren't good people.
Like no one really. It's very much very different, but kind of like Planet of the Apes that we just watched, or Kingdom Planet of the Apes. It's like Noah was the only good character, and really Lucy's like the only good character in Fallout. Everyone else around her is just terrible, and she's like, I hate everyone now. But I do like the kind of like pairing off. So she paired off with the ghoul at the end to go do her new mission, and then Maximus got kind of stuck being the hero that just didn't, but is now being perceived as the killer of the rebellion leader or whatever.
He keeps tripping up.
Yeah, like Johnny keeps saying, he has 10 plus luck. So
10 plus luck.
So yeah, it's
people are like, it's hard to criticize them because there's really people like this who just fail and get promoted all the time. So are they being realistic?
I don't like how ghouls are like made. I don't like that.
Oh, like the weird doctor guy that made the one guy
science experiment. Yeah,
that's weird.
I always like the ghouls as being like a product of the radiation from the fallout
forever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always thought that was a kind of a cool concept. Like you're blessed with immortality, but you're a ghoul.
I mean, I guess he could have like just used radiation to create or give him enough radiation. I don't know. But anyway, I know what you mean. I didn't
like that. I didn't like it was just a serum, whatever. I'm like.
Yeah, like Muller's review, he was pointing out like they need those vials to stay like sane. How are they getting those?
Yeah, I know. Where are they coming back for? Yeah, I don't know.
I did like the Matthew Barry cameo though. That made me laugh. So.
Oh yeah.
But I like that meme that I sent you. It's like when you want to when a ghoul shows up when a ghoul shows up at your front door and offers you a woman for argon harvesting, it's like there's somebody at the door. Somebody at the door.
Oh man, but yeah, so that was Fallout. Then unfortunately, we'll just continue on with Super now. Last time,
be right back.
You know, we ended Goku Black's arc. There were some actual fun side episodes, a couple filler episodes. We had the Gohan being a stunt double for his actual life character, Great Saiyaman. That was a fun little. And then for some reason, the main actor becomes this giant monster because this little parasite from space came in and took over his brain and became a giant goopy purple thing, and they fought. That was a fun couple episodes. Then we had a couple episodes with Goku and Krillin going and training with Master Roshi, although they did a dark Souls Star Wars kind of play on the going to the forest and seeing your villains, but it was fun, a little take on that. And then we get into the last arc, which I confirmed with Jared. I was like, is this the last one? He's like, yes it is. So we got to the Tournament of Power. And I wouldn't mind the Tournament of Power so much if it wasn't like how it began, because they make it
battle royale. well.
That's silly enough as it is. But the fact that Goku initiates the battle royale, and then like they're like, okay, yeah, and all the universes who lose are going to be cut out because
Erased.
that was already their plan. It was to get rid of these lackluster universes anyway. But now they have an excuse for it. But like they point it out as though it's Goku's fault, and he just doesn't care. That's what kills me. It's like he doesn't like that's not Goku. Goku would care, but he's like, oh well, but I just can't wait to fight. Da da da, and I'm like you keep just throwing nails into the coffin of Goku right now, and it's just making me so upset. So Goku in the show sucks. The show sucks. Yes, moving on. But moving on, we did the preliminary fights. Vegeta fought some dude. I can't. They fought wolves. 3 wolves. No, Vegeta didn't fight because Vegeta's not there. He was back with his baby because Vegeta had a baby. I didn't know he had another kid. That was surprising to me. Didn't know that. But so Piccolo and Gohan fought, right? Did Piccolo fight? Who fought the Piccolo? Boo and Gohan. That's what it was. Jeez, my brain. I already forgot. Anyway, so Boo does his fight. But there's actually like he fought the Red Fox, and the Red Fox is like, "Oh, you can't do anything, fat boy." And he's like, kicking lights at him. And then he gets a hold of him, but then Boo fights him. And then Boo actually slimmed up while he's training. But anyway, and then Gohan fights. And this is the other thing that killed me in Super. So we have this difficulty with Gohan because Gohan's my favorite character. And throughout all of Super or GT or whatever, he becomes nerdy and weaker. And so in the beginning of the show, he's like, Dad, I'm just not a fighter anymore. I can't do anything, blah, blah, blah. He faces Frieza, is like, oh, man, they won't beat me because I can't do diddly squat. I'm a weak boy, baby boy. And then he's like, hey, Piccolo, will you kind of train me a little bit? Will you help me fight a little bit? They never show any of that. They never do any of that. And then Gohan still says he's a weakling half the time. And then it comes to the tournament. And what does he do when it's his turn to fight? He turns to Goku and he goes, I'm stronger than I've ever been before.
Mhm.
That's the line Gohan spits out there because they want him to be stronger, so Gohan's stronger. And I'm like, this is the biggest BS. There's nothing is earned. I was talking about this Jackson last night. And it's like nothing is earned in Super whatsoever. Nothing matters. It's all stupid. I don't like it. We fought the Wolf Boys, and now there's a big giant guy that looks like Dr. Wily or whatever, the supersonic villain. Speaking of which, I did see Robotnik. There you go. What is Wily?
Mega Man.
Yeah, there you go. I did watch the clip where they're eating the grapes. That was pretty adorable. I didn't expect him. I didn't expect him to be green grapes though. That was surprising.
Oh yeah.
But he's just like, but anyway, so he fought some dude, and then so it's kind of interesting them trying to paint Goku in the light of a villain. But if I wouldn't mind if Goku cared. Goku's like. Not if he cared of what they thought of him, but if he cared, like, oh crap, this is actually going to happen. We need to figure out how to save all the universe. He'd be like, no, we'll be fine. We're going to have some good fights and save our universe. No one else matters because Goku's stupid. I don't know. The assassination of the characters in this show has pissed me off. They were about to start. He just got 17. It was cool seeing 17. That kind of weird twist where it's like, hey, we never actually met. Let's meet. And then they fought pirates together, not plunderers. Oh God, poachers. They fought poachers together.
Oh yeah, because he's protecting the wildlife.
Yeah, he's protecting wildlife,
and that makes you equal to Super Saiyan Blue.
So then there's less sense made because 17 has gotten more powerful watching a Minotaurosaurus, something like that, and then he can fight Goku at his most powerful and hold his own. So that's silly. And then another thing I pointed out to them yesterday was that they try and it's just with words give justification to Dende's character in this show by the guy, the poacher space lord man was saying he had a bomb in him. He's gonna blow everyone up on the ship because they had all the animals on the ship. And then so 17's like, say goodbye to my sister for my family, pushed him out the window, and all this happens. And then Goku instant transmissions them to King Kai's planet, and then the guy's like too weak to stand up because the gravity's so heavy. And then Dende calls. He's like, "Hey, Goku, the guy doesn't have a bomb in him. He's been bluffing the whole time." And then this is literally Goku's response: "Dende, you are a good guardian." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I forgot Dende was in.
I know.
This show is so bad, man. It's so bad. And everyone's like, oh, this arc's at least good. And I'm like, dear God, I don't know how it can be. I don't know where it's going to end. I have theories and ideas but I don't know. I could be completely wrong because in my brain, that makes sense. Like, well, you can at least end it this way and it could be done well. But with how they've done everything else, I don't see that happening.
Do you think it's going to end?
I mean, I would guess that Goku and the Zennies made some sort of deal to like scare everyone to like shape up, because that's the only excuse I can make for Goku not actually caring. And so that's just my slight hope, is that he's buddy with the Zennies and they're like, hey, let's do this thing, kind of get everyone whip themselves into shape, because everyone's kind of slacking on their universes. That's my hope. I highly doubt it. It's probably going to be stupid and I'm probably not going to like it because the rest of the show sucks. But anyway, so I don't know. I have like 30 something episodes left. I don't know how I've blown through the show so quickly, but I have. I just kind of watch a couple
I know
episodes a
you've
night.
gone through fast, man.
I just kind of watch it at night while I eat.
And Hunter x Hunter was
Well, I just watched the end of Hunter x Hunter. I didn't watch all of Hunter x Hunter, but yeah. So
are you gonna watch the Broly movie?
yeah, absolutely,
and Super, okay.
absolutely. Those I'm excited about.
Remember how hard it was to unlock powers in Dragon Ball Z? Like Gohan, you had to like beat the crap out of him and before you finally would power up. But
Oh,
Do you remember character development? Yeah. Yeah.
You should watch Sandland, Michael.
I'm excited to get some recommendations for my next anime, because I'm excited to watch something that it doesn't suck. And just
Who recommended Super?
who do you think recommended Super?
Oh, okay. I
Who
honestly
should not be named.
I honestly thought it was.
I thought you were just watching it.
Yeah,
just to
getting back
watch
to
it.
it.
Well,
Dragon
Carl's
Ball.
always told me to watch Super. He's like, no, it's good, And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And then with our Akira Toriyama's passing, I was like, okay, I'll kind of watch that. Feel like a good time to go back and watch it. Unfortunately, I think his Z and other stuff's 10,000 times better, because apparently you guys are saying that his assistant did a lot more of Super. So
Yeah.
his assistant, buddy, you need to go rewatch the old shows and think about what you've done.
Dude, we watched it. I can hardly remember anything about it. Like you guys were talking about Purple Vegeta, and I'm like, man,
as
what
a
was that?
filler episode, but
Yeah.
it's so upsetting. Like, even I brought it to Jackson and he's like, that just makes me angry. It makes me so freaking angry because of what they did. Like, I was like bouncing, I'm like, I know, and then this and that, and he's like, yes. So
Get angry, Jackson.
I'm almost done with Super. And then yeah, that's it. That's all. I think I didn't do anything else. It's a pretty busy week. It's a very busy week, actually.
Yeah, I was
So-
pretty busy too. So
Hopefully get some stuff done next week. We can talk about that.
hopefully. All right. Any last words from you guys? Eat your
No.
grapes.
Eat your grapes like this.
Knuckles. I'm surprised we don't have a bunch of like TikTok videos of people
I
eating
know.
grapes like that now.
Don't
All
trust the
right.
federal government.
Dang, that's what I learned from Planet of the Apes.
Were they wrong? No.
No. Do not. Large government is bad. We need small government. All right. So, like and subscribe to the channel and notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Record.